It is March 17th, 2012, and this is The Talking Dead. Hello, I am Jason.
You can go.
Ooh.
This is Bob.
This is Paul.
And we have a great show.
I got
for
second
you.
billing.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know, isn't that great?
High five. So, welcome
it's a
back.
team thing here, Bob.
We get parallel billing.
Yeah, that's right. But when you type this up, I want my name in a larger font than,
All right.
yeah, and bold.
You know where to put the envelope of money.
Yeah.
So anyway, welcome to a new episode of the show. What's new? We'll start off with all the informal greetings.
Not a whole lot, living the dream.
Okay.
If you didn't know, it's St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patty's Day. And right now, wait, I'll get to that. What about you, Paul?
Nothing really. Just working on different projects, all the good stuff.
What kind of project?
Documentary part 1 just came out. It's online. I can't remember the title. Yeah, it's the monks living in the Pure Land. You can probably find it on Facebook or it's on Vimeo. Is that the site?
Yeah. Vimeo.
There, you see how I have no idea. I've never pronounced it before. I just know the site.
You can call it Vimeo.
Yeah. Anyway, it's up on there. It's called Living in the Pure Land. It's about a group of Vietnamese Pure Land Buddhist monks and the challenges they face to get their temple in Virginia Beach. So it's actually pretty interesting what they had to go through, and their response to everything is equally interesting, even if you're not a super religious guy or into all that. They're kind of okay. Attitude is like it just amazes me.
I don't understand why if you're a bunch of what would you say, the Pure Land monks from Vietnam, why Virginia Beach?
Yeah, well, that's a good question.
It's not exactly my what comes to mind when I'm thinking of these pastoral Edens or serene.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't think the major cities in Vietnam are very serene or pastoral. They're pretty gritty and rough.
Yeah.
But there is a.
I heard that about Green Run too.
Yeah. There is a surprisingly large Vietnamese community here.
There's some great restaurants here too.
Yeah. You go to their events, man. They got killer food.
Like that one we went to.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot you went to that. Yeah. So done with that. Part 1. I'll start working on part 2 and 3. So I did the music for it and the audio mix.
So this is like a hardcore industrial dark.
Yeah, it's exactly. No, this is a lot lighter than the normal stuff. It's even a lot lighter than the normal ambient stuff. And
I can hear that.
Do I hear birds singing?
No, but you will hear bells and light synths, and I play a little bit of shakuhachi flute, which is the traditional Japanese bamboo flute. Trying to think what else. That's about it. Nothing too organic. Just.
So, is there a problem playing a traditional Japanese flute for a documentary about Vietnamese monks?
No, it's. Well,
Hollywood's been.
I don't know.
Hollywood's been doing it for years.
Yeah. Well, you made me think of that instance. Remember watching the old Tarzan shows,
right?
And there's that whenever they show a jungle scene, there's that bird call that we always associate with the jungle scene, and that bird is not from the jungle at all. It's like some kind of desert bird or something that would never even be anywhere near a jungle. That's not the sounds we hear in the jungle, but it's what we've been taught to associate with the jungle.
It's kind of like when you watch the Universal Studios Dracula. And they have the giant rats running by, which are just possums. That are and they're supposed to be these massive rats in these catacombs. And it's like, what the hell is a possum doing? Yeah, it kind of ruins the vibe. And it's like in the opening 30 seconds of the movie. It's really
They didn't think
bizarre. You
would see it.
Yeah. So, I don't know. No, I don't think there's a problem with it. It just sounds Asian-y.
All right.
So...
there's somebody who's going to watch it or listen to it. They're going to go,
that is
my God.
Yeah, well, they all got their instruments from China anyway, so it.
Is that a political statement?
No, but it's true. That's where like most of the you know, the writing and the all the instruments and art, you know, comes from there. And then even with Buddhism, I mean, originally it was, you know, in India, but then it got to China, and then it really changed over there. They got Chan Buddhism and Pure Land and all these different schools, and then that went up to like northern Tibet, and then to Korea and China, and they formed all the different schools. And then Vietnam is a little different.
And the clans of Wu-Tang.
Yeah, that's it. The 36 chambers formed,
right?
And they diversified their bonds.
Which that should illustrate right there, like my level of ignorance when it comes to that sort of philosophy. I know what I see in kung fu movies.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah, have you ever watched the Dave Chappelle racial draft episode?
No.
Watch it. It's hilarious.
I do love Dave Chappelle.
It's basically the whole skit is like, you know, anybody who's in the middle or mixed, all the delegations, the white delegation, black delegation, Asian delegation, Latino delegation, are coming to bid on who gets who, like who gets Mariah Carey.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, and in the end, I can't remember the black delegation who they take, maybe Condoleezza Rice, but we want her, but we have to give O.J. Simpson back, and nobody wants him. And then in the upset, the Chinese delegation adopts the Wu-Tang Clan. And then they come out and they're like, you know, because this is an old Chinese man, and he's like, we pick the RZA, the Jizza.
Yeah.
And then he comes out and he's like, Konnichiwa, bitches. So it's pretty funny.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's it. Got an interview coming up in an online magazine about music.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
Are you doing a full frontal?
Not since the one I did for you, because those pictures got leaked. And
make them pay you first.
Yeah. he told me that red light meant Paul. So no, just some guy asking me questions. So yeah, that's about it.
Well, what's the online magazine?
It is. I'm not sure what the name of it is, actually.
You are the worst at self-promotion.
I really am. That's why I go nowhere. That's why I'm here. Subculture magazine with a K. So it's actually Doy's magazine. Yep.
That's cool.
So, yep. It's their
He's got a good following on. With this
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And his band just started playing shows out in California now. So,
oh, really? That's good.
Well, when you do that interview, when he says, like, well, what do you got going on? You got to be like, well, I do this weekly thing.
Yeah,
well Doy's been on the show.
I always tell people.
Yeah, Doy's been on the show.
Yeah. That's actually a really good episode. That's one of my favorite episodes.
It's fun.
Because we talk about the proper way to kill an aswang, which is a Filipino vampire that separates at the waist and then, like, crawls up into a baby's room and then has a long proboscis tongue and like goes down and drains the blood of the baby. And he was like, you can listen in the show. He's like, dude, at breakfast this morning, my mom was telling me the best blade to kill an aswang with. I mean, they're
and then we talked about
like this was a real life conversations, you know. And we talked about
the Frank
Sinatra murders over there. People in the Philippines getting killed for singing "My Way" improperly,
messing up karaoke.
It's just insane.
Yeah, it is really a good interview.
But yeah, it's a fun show. Yeah.
So go check it out.
Yep.
Real quick, I just want to bring up right now, live, they are at WonderCon, and they're doing a Q&A with Ridley Scott, and they're going to do the Prometheus full-length trailer. I mean, there's been trailer after trailer released online. There's been the trailer for the trailer.
Yeah, I like that we live in that world now where there's a trailer for the trailer.
Yeah, and then before that there was a teaser, just, you know, with quick shots and dramatic music.
I like the trailer for the teaser. Yeah, it's really good, and the teaser for the trailer of the teaser of the trailer.
That's pretty much the way it's been. And then IMAX, there's just released this morning, was an IMAX 1 minute trailer, which all of it just builds it, and you see more and more of it.
Yeah,
and it's awesome.
Eventually, it's going to get so small we're just looking at a frame, And it's gonna be like, oh my God, did you see the frame that got released?
I think it's gonna turn out more like it'll be like a one long game of Wheel of Fortune. Like we get a P, and then like the next week we get another letter, and it's like a game of Hangman. We gotta guess what the title is.
Unlock the code. Yeah.
But even with the IMAX trailer, there's a lot of.
What could it spell?
Pancakes. No, but I'm very excited for that. So as soon as the official trailer gets launched, we're gonna put it on the site. So awesome with that. And the day this show airs, we were gonna give away free advance screening tickets to see Wrath of Titans, and the people who are subscribed to the newsletters already received the contest information and got advanced entering. Or if you're part of the newsletter, you automatically get the tickets. They get first come, first serve because they interact with us. They're
and good for them.
Yeah. So thank you.
Makes them more important than anyone who does it.
So they already have their tickets.
We have favorites here.
We do, and the favorites are the people who do the newsletter. And I only have a limited. They've only given me a limited edition. They're trying something new with the tickets this time. They're kind of switching it up. No longer giving us. It's all digital now. So, so it's cool. So. Run to the website as you watch this and enter in to get your tickets for event screening of Wrath of Titans 3D.
I think that movie could work because it gets them away from the previous film.
Oh yeah.
Well, we saw the trailer when we went to go see. What did we go see?
John Carter.
John Carter. Yeah.
Oh, did you go see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Like here we go.
Well, I had problems with it.
Yeah.
But
because it put forward a Christ. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. Christ-centered image. And
oh my gosh.
You're never gonna forget.
No, I mean I thought the narrative was a little confusing and it was hard to say, like I don't know, like just sort of the story itself I thought was a little confusing. I didn't really know like who were the bad guys.
Right.
It was a little unclear or exactly what the bad guys wanted. I didn't really know. And but having said all of that, it looks great. I mean, it looks like every penny of $250 million.
Wow.
That was the budget. And but it's not doing so hot in the U.S. But it'll make money
better elsewhere
overseas. Yeah,
but I think it's more story based than. Because like the first 15-20 minutes of it is just story. There's no action. There's nothing, and I like that.
I don't think that's why U.S. audiences don't want to see it. I mean, because you wouldn't know that from seeing the trailer anyway. You know,
they don't want to see it because it's not a household name, which is, we talked about it in previous shows.
Yeah, I
that
suppose,
it should be. But
I talked to a guy who saw it over the weekend, and he said
they're showing the
this
trailer.
Movie would have been so awesome if I hadn't seen every movie made by directors who were influenced by this series. Beforehand. And he's like, And then he said, originally this movie was supposed to be made in like 1922.
Yeah.
And it's been shelved since then.
Yep.
It's had the longest and worst, let's go,
Well,
let's not, let's go.
Well, the scope of the movie itself is huge. I mean,
there's tons of stuff that was written.
It would be really difficult to film it because it's just so large in scope. I mean, I think sometimes
how many books are in the series? 4, 5?
9, I think.
Is it 9?
But the John Carter books. This is the one book in particular is called A Princess of Mars.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand, like even that was like they couldn't go with that title because like no dude would go see a movie called A Princess of Mars, and then they had to drop the Mars part of John Carter of Mars because they didn't think women would go see it if it was John Carter of Mars because women don't go to sci-fi shows.
Right. But just,
so
John Carter. I mean, that could be like, A River Runs Through It or Legends of the Fall, you know. Yeah. So
but even though I had some problems with it, I think the movie's being treated unfairly by the critical or the mainstream press, and I think that there might be some like I don't know, like what's that? There's that German word Schadenfreude. You ever heard of that? It means
taking
like,
pleasure
yeah,
in
it's like,
one's demise.
Yeah,
or in
the guy
someone
who.
else's.
So the guy
pain.
who directed it is
I love that word.
I forget the guy's name, but it's the guy who directed Wall-E.
Yeah.
Which Wall-E was great. I love that movie. I mean,
Yeah.
that was a home run for Pixar and Disney. And so he got this movie, and this was his first live action film. And I think some critics were panning it just because they wanted to see this guy get knocked down a peg or two. He gets a $250 million movie, and and it doesn't like shatter every box office record for opening weekend, and so they're like, "Oh, he failed. It's so awful." He failed. Like even though I have some problems with the film, I think that this is the guy you want making these kinds of movies and taking these kinds of chances because, on many levels, I think the movie succeeds.
Yeah,
but that's not to say that it's a perfect film, but it's okay.
Right.
It doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
Not everything is a masterpiece, but that guy could make a masterpiece.
Right.
well, he's just getting closer to it.
Well, right.
I would have loved to see them break up John Carter into the stories and make it either a trilogy or make it whatever.
If I remember right, it's 9 novels I think in the series, the John Carter of Mars series.
Yeah, I saw they're all over Barnes and Noble now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I go down.
But
to
even
sci-fi
then,
stuff.
they were published like the first one, A Princess of Mars, if I read correctly. It was published as like a pulp serial, like we were saying, and that was divided into 11 pulp novels.
So we can make 99 movies.
Yeah.
Well, even if they they broke it down to 2 or 3 films, I think I would have gone and seen it. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think the Dune caliber of film would make it today. Well, maybe not. I mean, I guess
Well,
so.
Dune never really made it anyway.
Well, I know, but it
So-
but it has a cult following.
It
to
does.
it.
The first book's good.
And-
Mohab Deep.
Maudib.
And it would be nice. I would love to have a modern day. I mean, outside of Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and stuff like that, which I'm totally looking forward for The Hobbit. But I would like to have those films, where instead of studios just, we'll take John Carter for example, instead of them just coming out and dropping one film and saying we got to do the full story here and there, to spread it out and make it something. I mean, every movie studio now has it down solid to market anything, and I think they could have played it off doing really well of doing a series of this film because I enjoyed it. I mean, I agree with Bob. There were some things where you're just kind of like, what, why, and I don't understand what's going on. But the overall, the feel, the special effects, the idea, the imagery, everything was beautiful. It was awesome.
It's definitely a summer popcorn muncher.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I would love to see that. Would have loved to see that expanded into something where I would look forward to see the kind of like what they did with Twilight, I guess, whatever.
Let's go with Harry Potter.
Or Harry Potter. But
Yeah, Harry Potter, when you think about it, like how ambitious
He hasn't
was
seen
that?
any of them.
Really? Yeah, you suck.
I know. Aren't they amazing?
They
Every
are
movie
amazing.
gets better.
Well, I don't
Except
think
for
every
that
movie gets
seventh one.
better. I think the best of the 3 was when they gave the movie to Alphonse Cuarón, which was The Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah.
Which I think was the darkest of the 3
Yeah, it
and the
was.
best.
I don't know. I really liked the last one.
They were good, but I think that the
I didn't like the second to the last one because it's just setting everything up
Yeah.
for the 2-part. But the last one, it was just like you just sat back and it reminded me of the 2 Towers. I mean, not.
Right.
It's just like, all right, here's 2.5 hours of fighting and shit, and that's it. It was good.
Yeah, it was really good, but I just think that it's like some kind of an experiment that obviously has paid off.
Well, I think
they
because
were
the
like,
book
okay,
was so successful. The books were so successful. It wasn't
well,
too hard of a leap.
yeah,
it wasn't
figure
hard
out.
for people to put money behind the film.
Yeah, because all you got to do is make the first one. The first one wraps up its own little story, and then
Right.
go in, holy shit, well, let's just go through the line.
right, but but that's ambitious, and they thwarted a lot of problems in that they kept all the actors in it, right? One of them died, right? Richard Harris died as Dumbledore, and they recovered from that. And then and Daniel Radcliffe, you know, they were fortunate that he sort of grew into the Harry role. I mean, he's kind of trying to get away from it now, but they were lucky. He could have gotten, you know, incredibly tall, or, you know, there's a lot of things.
He could have gone Fred Savage.
Well,
or, you know, well, anyway, go ahead.
You know, but it's any one of those actors could have, you know, had like dramatic physical changes,
right.
and I think that, you know,
or became a drug addict, or
Turns out I have that hormone that won't let me stop growing.
Yeah, right. I know, like Emmanuel Lewis as Harry Potter. But yeah, I mean, but that they were successful over 8 movies. I mean, that's crazy.
How much has that brought in? Like over $1 billion?
Oh God, crazy. So much money. It's probably not even.
The people who invested are very happy.
Yeah.
No, that's great. I mean, and that's what maybe that's the film that I'm looking for. It just missed my generation. You know, I'm not really into the Harry Potter films. I have no desire to go want to see them.
When they're in 3D, you'll go.
Well, the last 2, actually the last one, is in 3D, but it's a 2D 3D conversion. They were planning to go shoot it in 3D.
I spit on your 2D.
I spit on it. No, it's just they had it in their plan and in their budgets to shoot it in 3D, but the studios wanted to rush it, so they decided to do it all in post, which.
You know what?
Sucks.
So go see it in 2D. Well, who cares?
Yeah,
I care.
I hate now watching movies that were released in 3D on like DVD, because there's always that shot where the shit comes at you, and it doesn't need to be there.
Well, there's that shit. I mean, even in the 2D converted, like Piranha 3D.
I know. I'm just saying, anyone that they decide, and you're like, really? I'm just sitting at home. I watched.
Yeah, can you get that, please?
You want me to get?
No. But go ahead.
I watched.
Come in. Anyway, we go back to what you're saying.
I watched Captain America the other night, which is by far one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Really?
Awful. The first, like, until he becomes Captain America, it's pretty good. You know, when he's skinny and he's scrawny and he's in the military. But then it just fucking dies.
It's only because you related to him when he was.
Yeah, I know, when he was. It was just so cheesy. It was like every line was one step away from being like, here's one for Uncle Sam, you know.
Yeah.
And
well, it was kind of supposed to be that way.
He
was supposed to be that guy.
I know, but I mean, it made me not. I'm like, fuck, is he gonna be in the Avengers? I don't want to go see that. If he.
Oh, the Avengers 3D trailer looks awesome.
The worst. I mean. I don't know. See, I'd put it up there with like Daredevil. I mean, it's. No, I've never actually stomached that movie.
What he meant to say was Ghost Rider.
Yeah. No. Well, that's what we were talking about. We were trying to decide which one was worse, Captain America or Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider is by far worse.
Yeah.
But I hated that. We almost took it out. We were like just sitting there. We started to fast forward. It was so fucking. Disney would have watched this and been like, that's a little syrupy. You know, I mean.
I had problems with Captain America too, but overall, I liked it.
He's a lame-ass superhero.
No, he's a cool-ass superhero. He gets the super soldier.
Everybody, place your bets.
Right,
Place your bets. Place your bets right now.
Yo, that part's cool. What the fuck is up with that outfit?
Yeah, it was a little, but see
and then
but they even acknowledge the silliness of the outfit.
They do. But then he's like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna sneak into this fucking Nazi camp with a bright ass red shield and a star slung on my back, and you can like see him just running. It's retarded.
But he's leading the way and all. The biggest problem I had with the Captain America movie had to do with sort of its structure, in that it opens with them finding him frozen in the Arctic, right? Which is, we all kind of know what happened, but that's how the movie opens. And then as soon as he becomes Captain America, you're just like looking at your watch, waiting for the big fight with the Red Skull so he can...
Oh, that guy looked awful. Way too cartoony.
Really?
Yeah, why not? I mean, if he's like all deformed from this, why not really make him kind of creepy and cool? He looked like...
You can't change the image of comic book characters, though, because people will get fucking
to
freaky.
a degree.
I think he looked just like the Red Skull should look.
To me, yeah,
And that's the reason, because fans
I
do not want...
It was ridiculous. Look, you know what he looked like?
Look what they did to Wonder
Woman. Like a
Woman.
red version of Jim Carrey in The Mask. That's exactly what he looked like. Yeah, you shook your head. Yes.
Yeah, but I mean,
son of a bitch.
Okay, so The Mask was
but Batman,
relatively new movie. And,
the new Batman movies are great. He doesn't look anything like what the comic book originally looked like.
Yeah, it does.
I don't
Which
remember.
one?
The new Batman movies, the ones with Christian Bale. Yeah. Does the original Batman in the comics?
Even the remake of the Spider-Man goes back to the original image of Spider-Man.
Yeah, but the original Batman is kind of lame looking. He's like the little gray suit with the...
No, that's the original TV series.
No, I've seen the original comic.
The Bob Kane comic.
You're saying
black and gray and
yeah.
But in the comics he progresses.
His car's tougher. Everything's a little meaner, darker, more badass. Not with Captain America. They kept that shit like sugary.
Yeah,
it was fucking awful. But what made me think of it is they show him like throwing the shield, and it like comes right at the screen. And
that was a 2D 3D conversion though.
I don't give a shit what it was.
Well, no, I know. I'm just saying
it was poor.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
I don't think I saw that in 3D.
But I think they would. I think they would have done the same. I think they would have done the same thing, even if it wasn't in 3D. Him throwing the shield, that's kind of iconic, and that would be.
Yeah, that's kind of what he did.
Yeah.
So.
So then I looked up lame superheroes while I was watching it because there was no need to give 100% to it. Now, I never read superhero comics as a kid. There wasn't even a place to get comics. There was like a Below grocery store, and you could get Mad Magazine. That's about as kid-friendly as it was. I had no idea there were so many bad... I mean, I guess because so many were made... So many bad ideas for superheroes, like one guy on roller skates, you know.
In the 70s, the disco skates were huge.
Yeah, it's exactly that. And there was another one that was only in one. The guy's power was his arms could fall off. I mean, it was really just bad stuff. And there was like this Puerto Rican disco guy. I mean, it just kept going on. I mean, these are the lowest of the low.
There's no shortage of B-list superheroes.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of like saying I had no idea there could be this many bad horror movies. I mean, there are
bad horror movies.
There are cool B movies. There are cool Corman C movies, and then there's like, you know, shot on VHS at your house.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean. Comic book fans take their comics seriously because they were going to do a Wonder Woman TV series, but there was such an outcry about the outfit, they pulled the plug on it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. But I will go see the Avengers, and the only reason I will see the Avengers is because the 3D trailer in front of John Carter looked awesome.
Yeah.
It was the 3D that I love, the gimmicky in your face, I'm going to make you throw up 3D.
Yeah, that's the best kind.
It really is.
Well, I really like the depth kind too, but the cheese kind is fun.
Well, speaking of the depth, I know you like Tron Legacy.
Fantastic 3D.
The Tron.
I could live in that city forever.
He made an official announcement saying that they are, or I guess it would be an unofficial announcement, they are actually going to be working very soon on coming out with the next Tron movie.
I had read that they were moving forward on a new Tron, even though the first one wasn't as commercially successful as they wanted it to be.
But it's the universe that they're building. It's the product line and everything. So I'm so excited. That little 3-minute trailer that they put, they're supposed to bridge the gap between Legacy and the next film.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Fantastic,
Fucking
man.
beautiful. It's awesome. I cannot wait. It's gonna be awesome. I do love the Tron. But they just show on the live video feed. They just finished up showing the Prometheus trailer, and I'll put it up on the site as soon as the show's over. Very excited about it. Since we're talking about Prometheus, you have seen all the other trailers, right?
Mm-hmm.
What'd y'all think of them?
It's a whole bunch of stuff that looks cool that I have no idea how it relates to anything or to each other.
That's a cool image. That's a cool image. That's a nice silhouette. Okay, and then it's done.
And it was like, okay, a spaceship lands, and then a whole bunch of stuff that I have no context about what it means. Looks cool, and then over. And all right, great, I'm in. You know.
But okay, so we've talked about this before on the show, if the aliens are not going to be in it, what's going to be the scary element?
A different alien.
You think it's going to be a different one?
I don't know.
I don't really care. It's just I know it's a Ridley Scott sci-fi movie, and I like all his others, so I'll show up.
But I'm just curious of what is going to be the suspenseful element to it. I mean, because Alien,
it could just be people running out of air in a ship. I don't, it could be anything. I don't know. Maybe they discover fire on a planet. I mean, that's was one of the hints that he gave out.
You think
maybe there's a giant boulder they have to keep running up another source.
I don't know. I'm very excited about it. I've only seen bits and pieces of the trailer because the feed is really
probably a million
people are watching it right now. But this is definitely going to be the film to see this year.
I think so. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be.
This
really
is definitely an IMAX.
Yeah,
film.
after 21 Jump Street, this is.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
This is definitely going to be an IMAX. I'm not going to go see it anywhere else. IMAX will be. This is going to be fucking awesome. That universe in 3D.
I'm excited.
I am too. So, The Dark Shadows. The very first trailer of Dark Shadows was released this week. And for those who don't know, Dark Shadows is the movie remake, I guess, of the series
sort of.
Dark Shadows.
Yeah, sort of.
Produced by Tim Burton, directed by
Tim Burton.
I would call it after seeing this trailer, is not at all what I thought. I thought it was going to be
Me too.
Victorian Gothic
Me too.
stuff. And
I was like, what?
And it turns out to be
a campy.
You know what it looks like?
You know what it looks like? It looks like the remake of 21 Jump Street. It's in that let's make it funny. Which is cool. I mean, whatever.
That's fine. Yeah.
I don't have any real
You really want to go see the remake of 21 Jump Street?
No, but
I've heard the remake of 21 Jump Street is very funny.
The
I hear it's funny.
Starsky and Hutch and all of those. Charlie's Angels was kind of goofy anyway. I mean, I didn't grow up with Dark Shadows at all. It's been around since the 60s.
I don't think there was any comedy in Dark Shadows.
No. And, I had read and heard that originally it was so fucking boring that they were like, I don't know, let's put a vampire in it and see what happens. And it caught on again. People started watching it, and then they ran with that. So, I don't know. I just don't have any attachment to it. So
yeah.
I mean,
to me, they're not desecrating anything. I've tried watching Dark Shadows a couple times.
Get bored.
It's so fucking boring.
It is
I
very
was talking
slow.
to a guy when we went to Monster Fest one year here.
Yeah.
And remember we were talking to a guy who was a huge Dark Shadows fan, and he said, man, I grew up with it. I loved it. He had all this cool vampire memorabilia and stuff. He's like, I started watching it again. He's like, those commercial breaks sure broke it up and made it easier to watch. He said, I'll start nodding off.
Yeah. I never got into it either.
So, I mean...
So with that said, since it wasn't part of our childhood or growing up, what do we think of Dark Shadows, the movie?
I think Johnny Depp looks really kind of nice in it. I mean, I like the makeup. It's very, kind of eerie, but not over the top or anything. It's
I don't even. So Tim Burton can do funny because I love Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Right, we all love
Right.
that movie. And
I think his best is Big Fish, though.
and well, Big Fish is good. Big Fish is I don't know. Big Fish is a little like poignant. You know, his dad died.
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
sad. But Ed Wood, I think, is probably one of
Ed
his
Wood's
best movies.
really
I
good.
love Ed Wood so very much. But this one, it kind of reminds me of, and believe it or not, you're gonna make fun of me for this, but there's a movie that I think it was the same idea. It takes a TV show and they make a movie out of it.
Don't say Captain America.
No, but this movie I think had like almost like quiet brilliance to it in that I thought it was really funny and I didn't think that I would, and I get the Brady Bunch movie out of the.
Yeah,
I
totally see that.
Out of the
Brady Bunch movie is good.
the Brady Bunch movie is really funny, and the funny thing is that
I never liked the show.
I hated the show.
Yeah.
I thought it was
The
like
movie is hilarious.
It was a really crappy show that was just on, and that's what you watched because everybody else did.
Right.
And I thought the Brady Bunch movie, and there was a sequel or something, and those were crappy. It was just a cash grab. But I think that the Brady Bunch movie was like, it was quietly brilliant in that they put the Brady Bunch family in modern society, and then they're unaware of everything.
Yeah.
And so, as soon as it was like 1972,
All his houses were split levels.
Yeah.
Which I love split level houses. But still.
I don't know. I think the Brady Bunch is an underrated movie. It's really, really funny. And the gag is funny and works throughout the whole film. And I think that they're going for that kind of vibe
Yeah, I
with,
can see that.
with Dark Shadows. And that he's, a gothic vampire stuck in 1972.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it'd be fun.
And it could work, but at the same time, I don't ever remember there being any like pratfalls and sight gags in Dark Shadows at all.
And if they did, we missed them.
Yeah. I think there are some like gothic teenage girls like writing in message boards right now very, very upset.
I don't think so, because those gothic teenage girls aren't going to the movie for the atmosphere of the movie. They're going to see
Johnny Depp,
Johnny Depp
as a
looking,
vampire.
Yeah, spooky.
Which he
The
looks
same
in every
goddamn
movie.
reason I'm going. So.
Did you see that? Speaking of Johnny Depp, did you see that there was the first pictures leaked from the Lone Ranger movie?
Yeah, I saw
No.
that. Him
And
as
Johnny
Tonto.
Depp as Tonto.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Armie Hammer as Lone Ranger.
So I'm curious if they're going to do the same thing that they've done with Dark Shadows. with
I would imagine
Lone
so. If
No,
he-
I understand that that one is going to be played straight.
No,
but
because-
it's going to have a supernatural.
yeah, there's going to be
horror element
werewolves
to
in it, and
Really?
there's going to be werewolves in it. We
Well,
talked about it on the show.
The original script. The original script had werewolves in it in like a large supernatural element, and I understand to get it under budget, they had to trim a lot of that away.
Well, they trimmed some of the werewolves. They said, but they said,
but the movie's still supposed to have that supernatural
That's good. We've
background to it.
because
We're gonna
we
live in
talked
that
about it. We're like
supernatural
trying to
world.
figure out why.
we were. I've never talked about this.
Yeah, we talked about it on the show set because we were curious about how they were going to link the silver bullet to the werewolves. Or you know.
Yeah.
Was it me?
There's somebody on the show we talked
but
about.
it wasn't. I mean, I only found out about this movie because I was reading about.
I've been drinking, so.
That I heard about it when I heard about Dark Shadows, just like the other day that
Yeah.
he's currently working on the Lone Ranger as Tonto. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but we have talked about Western horror movies. How we wish there were more set in like the Southwest.
Jonah Hex was awful.
Well, yeah. I mean, I didn't even.
The best
I didn't even
part
bother
of that
to watch
movie
that one.
was the little 2 or 3 minute animated sequence that has his origin story. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Other than that, lousy.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
And don't get me started about Wild Wild West.
Will Smith.
No. But shit. What's the Near Dark?
That
Yeah.
was a great vampire
Yeah.
movie, but it wasn't. That was modern day, but they were left over from
still,
that time.
Yeah. I mean, that's just something involved. There's one called The Burrowers that's really good.
I haven't seen that.
Put it in your queue or go to work and find it. I always
Go to work.
forget.
Just go to work.
The
It's-
Burrowers. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember everything about it, but there's basically It's like Tremors, but spooky. But, you know, and,
not as much fun.
Yeah, Tremors is awesome though. At least
He's like Kevin Bacon.
Don't you mock Kevin Bacon right now? I'm a Kurt Russell man myself, but I like his beard.
Oh,
Whatever, dude.
he's like, whatever. I'm drunk.
I gotta get another one. In me. Hold on.
I'm gonna need one more of these.
Yeah, that rent ain't gonna pay itself.
Woo. And the show takes a left turn.
Yeah, but yeah, so that should be cool to see supernatural and cowboys and Indians.
But will you go see Dark Shadows?
Yeah,
I'm probably gonna wait for video on Dark
Really?
Shadows. Yeah, you know, like maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll catch it one day, but I'm not gonna make the concerted effort
Yeah.
to go see it.
I might use our free.
Yeah.
Cinnamon Cafe.
You know, if I have
There
a
you
free.
go.
Pitcher of beer, some
Well, you see, Cinema Cafe is perfect for movies like that.
Yeah.
on Tuesdays, dollar movie night.
Well, the thing is,
What,
too, like,
what is the deal? Speaking of, we talk about Cinema Cafe a lot on the show. I should write them for sponsorship. But
Yeah, seriously.
they've opened up their Saturday nights, or maybe it was their Friday nights, as a comedy club now.
Yeah,
What is up with that?
I don't think it's the whole place. I certainly hope not.
It's like, are they doing that bad on Friday or Saturday
No, they
night?
used to do that on like Mondays. They would have football on
Monday, I understand. Nobody goes see movies on Mondays. But
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday.
I think it's just
is
maybe
it like
one.
open mic night?
I don't know what it is.
Well, they
No.
said they
No,
have
had-
the best amateurs and professional
Yeah,
comedians.
because I went by and it was like, but it was weird. It was like so and so, the disgruntled clown. We were like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's
I
going
mean, it's
on.
like if it,
But they have like 4 locations, so I mean, I don't think it's every one.
oh, I thought it was that they were doing it.
No, I mean they have the one in Virginia Beach. The
Well,
one
see,
on Independence, they
that
got
makes a
one
little bit
in
more sense because there's
Greenbrier.
probably one that doesn't have very
The
good
first
weekend
run
screenings.
version in Kempsville and in Hampton.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, one of them probably doesn't do well. So I was just,
but
I was just,
the one it's at is the one that I would think is the one that's been around the longest.
yeah. I'm just really puzzled by why would they use a Friday or Saturday? You would think that would be their busiest nights,
Right.
Um,
And you'd want all theaters running.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
well, I guess maybe they brings in more money. I don't know. The higher
I don't
ticket
know.
price.
I don't know. They've done a couple things over the years where they were like showing classic movies and they were going to start this night of classic movie night or something like that. Shit lasted like a month, you know. So
I wonder if we could do something like if we could do a Zombie Popcorn Presents a classic horror movie or something.
That'd be a good idea.
It's all on you now.
Okay. Why is that all on me?
Why? Yeah, why is it?
I don't know.
He doesn't work at
Because I'm
Cinema
clearly the motivation guy.
No, I wasn't talking
I'm
about
clearly
that. I was talking about
the
over there.
achievement
Cafe. Oh, you're talking about the
Yeah,
the one that's
talking
closer
about
to us.
across the street, not no. I just figured, that guy, you'd get him to call up the Cinema Cafe guy. Got him in his Rolodex somewhere.
Oh, or maybe I might know a guy that knows a guy that knows a
Yeah.
guy. But what makes you think I'm the accomplishment man?
Well, clearly none of us are that accomplished. I mean, I got a magazine interview coming up.
I know, right?
But
See,
it's
there you
only
go.
because I know a guy who doesn't have any room to fill.
Yeah, all right.
And I've been.
That's why I suck at self-promotion. That's on.
Damn it. I don't know. Whatever. Moving on. So, did you like the movie Jurassic Park?
Yes.
What do you think of them re-releasing it in 3D?
I
No.
like Jurassic Park, but I don't think I like it as much as everybody else likes it.
Yeah, it wasn't that great of a movie. It was entertaining. It was fun because it was the first time that the technology
Yeah, I
they
think
used
when
for
it first came out,
Yeah.
it was amazing.
Well,
And
yeah,
it's
when it
still
first-
an amazing achievement of
special
special effects.
Yeah.
But
Like
Jen will watch it whenever it's on TV. It's like, oh, nothing's on. Oh, Jurassic Park is on. And I'm like,
Is it-
no.
I mean,
When I read
if
that-
I'm like, nothing's on, holy shit, Conan the Barbarian's on.
See, that's different. If Conan the Barbarian was
that
on,
used to be the TBS staple,
Yeah.
but they don't do that anymore.
if I had a choice between Jurassic Park or Conan, it's gonna be Conan. every
Unless
time.
it's Conan the Destroyer, in which case
Then
I
you
would watch
skip that
Jurassic Park. Yeah.
And then you watch Red Sonja.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It comes on an hour.
When I read that news article, I thought that they were making another Jurassic Park movie.
No,
and it would be in
this is
3D.
the original.
No, Jurassic Park came out in like 1993. That's way too early to make a remake.
Yeah.
I mean,
Setting up our segue.
that's good. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
But I was actually kind of like, oh, that's cool.
No, I was with you. I was just like, I didn't know if I wrote that down or not. But anyway, so what were you saying? Wait. I don't want to get there yet. I don't want to get there yet. I want to talk about Jurassic Park at the moment. What were you gonna say, Bob?
No, I just said that when I thought that they were making another Jurassic Park movie, be it a prequel, sequel, remake, or otherwise, I thought that was kind of cool because I liked the first Jurassic Park movie, and I think that that's an interesting premise, and if done right, it could be a lot of fun. But then I read further, and I was like, oh, they're just doing the same movie again with a.
It's like the Titanic with 3D. It's like
Let's run it through the machine.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's like we got this program that will render it in 3D. We don't have to do anything.
You know what,
And
though?
then,
I'm kind of okay with it because I haven't been too impressed with any new movies coming out recently. So it's
Prometheus is coming out.
yeah,
you do.
well, there are some exceptions, but I'll rewatch the same shit again in 3D, I suppose.
I don't think I will go see Jurassic Park in 3D.
I wouldn't go to see Jurassic Park in 3D. I would go to see Conan the Barbarian in 3D.
Well, they did the remake of Conan in 3D. Did you go see it?
No,
was
fuck
in
no.
3D.
No, that looked awful. That had none of the grittiness that the original one had. And
You mean
the
when you say grittiness, you mean boobies?
Right.
It
had all of-
it
it had all of
definitely
it.
could have. Man, that was like one of the first young kid movies where it was okay to watch even though it was booby laden, and I was like, man, this is way better than the TBS version. Even my dad was like, I think you'll like this version more. and he was pretty conservative. So
I love the first Conan movie.
Oh, it's awesome.
and
It's
you know
great.
what? I was talking with someone at work about it. It's amazing how many people love this movie. It's almost like watching the ballet. The first fucking 20 minutes of it, there's almost no dialogue.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's this great orchestral score.
Oh, the score is
Kind
Yeah.
of
It is
like
great. Actually, I own it.
Carmina Burana, huge,
I don't know who any of those people are.
Carl Orff was a composer, and his most famous thing was a piece called Carmina Burana, and you've heard it.
Okay, all right, I'm
You
sure
have
that I
to have heard
have.
We
I
should
heard it on
pull it
Conan.
up.
We can't play it. Our videos are being taken down left and right.
Not now, not
Yeah.
now. But you'll hear the main part. It's da, 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 da. And there's all these choir, and it's based off a series of writings by I want to say a whole bunch of monks that were way into orgies and sex and debauchery as their path to holy.
Which monk should be.
Yeah.
That's an
Unfortunately,
interesting
those
take on
Pure
the
Land
monastic
guys
life.
are not. But otherwise, I would be.
That's the only reason you're
I'd
doing
be
the
at
music.
temple every Monday. But you're early. Yeah, you guys get up at 4, don't you? Let's get this shit started.
I gotta record some sounds.
Got some enlightenment to reach. Let's do this shit. I've been stressed. I can get into the full Lotus now. In a weak half-ass Lotus. Yep.
Yeah.
Bring the baby oil and the gong. I brought the shakuhachi and the sake.
I got the batteries.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you were saying about the score.
Man, I hope anyone that goes to that temple has turned off the show by now.
Well, you'd be surprised who listens to us because Bob said that somebody he
They
ran.
are a forgiving lot, though,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's good.
It is in their nature.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Man.
I don't know where we were going with that, but
I don't know.
since we hit the wall with that,
We were talking about how it was 1993 was too early for
Yes.
a remake.
and I have to disagree with you, Paul,
Yeah.
because there was an epic film back in '93.
Actually, that's been on Sci-Fi all day today.
Really?
St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, I guess so.
Yeah.
And the movie we're talking about is
Leprechaun. with Jennifer Aniston. Or she was in one of them, Leprechaun 2, Leprechaun 3.
She was in one of them. But they're doing a remake of it.
Why?
Because it's in the zeitgeist now because of that documentary about the Leprechaun 2, the greatest worst movie ever. There's
Troll 2.
No, it's Leprechaun.
No.
No, dude.
I thought the documentary was about Leprechaun.
No, it's about Troll 2 and how Troll 2 is the worst movie ever made.
Yeah, I thought that was about Leprechaun. I thought for sure it was about Leprechaun.
I wish they would do Critters so my little critter dog would get.
Yeah.
Man, I tried finally watching that movie.
Which
I'd
one?
never seen it, Critters.
Yeah.
And I rented it, and then there was a scratch on the DVD.
And you couldn't
Three-quarters of the way through, and I was like, man, I've already invested this much into this movie. Anyway.
Yeah.
And it was shortly after you got your doll. So
How was that?
it was shortly after you got your doll.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn it, I'm gonna watch it. And then I'm gonna watch Ghoulies, which I still
Ghoulies
haven't.
is funny, but anyway. So yeah, they're doing a remake of Leprechaun. No word on anything about it. They're just doing it.
Because it wasn't crappy enough the first time.
I know. You know what's great though?
That is a horrible fucking ass movie.
It really is. They can still get the same guy. I mean, he's
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be
Willow. I can't remember the actor's name. Matter of fact, he's got a show right now.
Does he?
I was watching.
I was
An
shocked to
Idiot
see him
Abroad,
in
the
Phantom
second
Menace.
season. And I want to say that he has some sort of show.
It wouldn't surprise me. He
Yeah.
I saw he has a book out, and I can't remember his name either. But I saw he has a book, and I forget what the title of the book was, but basically the gist of the title was like how I made a career out of crappy movies, and you can too.
that is awesome.
That reminds me of. I haven't read it, but it's one of the coolest titles was the Bruce Campbell book, "Leading with My Chin:
Yeah.
Confessions of a B-Movie Actor." It's a great title.
But Willow was a success for him.
Willow was a great movie.
It was a great movie. It still is a great movie.
Yeah, I throw it in every couple years.
Yeah.
You're like, it's a Daikini, baby.
They need to remake it. No.
Val Kilmer was good in it.
Before he got fat and crazy.
Oh, dude, I watched MacGruber the other day, right? Because someone was like, I have this if you want to see it. And I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do it.
That movie sucked.
I thought it was brilliant and hilarious for the first 10 minutes, and then I had to stop and I went back to watch it. And it was only good for 10 minutes, Because at first you're like, oh, this is funny. It's
that was
fun
the
of all
joke.
that.
Right? That's the problem with most of those SNL skits that become movies.
It's one joke.
Right. It's funny as a skit, as a short form skit. Yes, funny.
Yeah.
And even on Saturday Night Live, they stretch the joke into 3 or 4 skits.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the joke.
Yeah, yeah.
And that works in that format. But to make a whole feature film about that,
Man.
and I used to have respect for Ryan Phillippe as an actor,
Mm-hmm.
but I just lost it all for Ryan. poor, I was like, Ryan Phillippe, how far you have fallen. I mean, literally, I don't know. There's got to be some dignity.
I thought
what happened?
I thought there
'cause-
were a couple good parts in it. I like the montages in the beginning.
Those were funny.
Finding the team,
Yeah.
all the fist bumps and high fives, and that was funny. The beginning is funny. I like all the soft rock.
Yeah.
I like the saxophone playing, but then it fucking tanks, man. It just gets dumber and dumber.
So you watched it all the way through?
I did. I made it all the way
All right.
through.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. I even watched all the credits and the little extra saxophone scene at the end, I think.
I just think that Ryan Phillippe must have had this moment where he's in his trailer and they're I don't know where they were in the production.
He the younger guy?
Yeah, he was the younger agent guy that finally gets on MacGruber's team at the end.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that when they're filming that, Ryan Phillippe's in his trailer. He's like, just think of all the zeros on that paycheck. Just think of all those.
Yeah.
I know you're going to be walking around with celery stuffed up your ass.
Oh, yeah.
But there's dignity in the art form. Just cash the paycheck and move on. and like I said, I was like, that is just the dumb. Okay, it's bad enough that what's the actor's name? Will Arnett.
Will Forte? that his name?
No, Forte is from Arrested Development. Or maybe maybe it is Forte. Yeah. Arnett is from Arrested Development. It's Will Forte. Yeah, like the gag with Will Forte with Shelby stuck up his ass as a distraction.
Weird the first time.
Weird and funny the first time. It's okay because it's his joke, his movie, his character. Then he's got to inflict that on somebody else.
Yeah. Although the first time they're in the office and he's trying to get the guy to join his team, and he's like, I'll suck you off. That was a little weird. That was kind of funny. That made me laugh a lot. But then they kept doing the same joke over and over. He's always asked. So, but anyway, yeah. Val Kilmer was in that, and
Val Kilmer had more dignity than Ryan Phillippe in that movie.
Yeah. I even felt sorry for Val Kilmer. I was like, dude, you were the saint. I love that movie.
Watching MacGruber was a movie where I felt bad for the actors involved.
I felt bad for myself afterwards. I had to return the movie to the guy, and I kind of palmed it so nobody would say it. Yeah. It was like, should I put this in a black porn bag? Because I'd rather people think I had hardcore pornography in this black bag.
You put the paper over it on the counter, slide it across.
That's exactly what it was like. Yeah.
This is being returned.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
That was an awful movie.
Speaking of awful movies, remember the Garbage Pail Kids movie?
Never saw it.
You never saw it?
My mother wouldn't let me near that movie. And honestly, even as a kid, I loved Garbage Pail Kid cards.
I still have mine.
My mom wouldn't let me get them, so I'd have to buy them in secret, because they thought they were disgusting. Even as a kid, I remember seeing that movie and going, that is a shitty ass looking movie. I mean, even as an 8-year-old, it's like,
no, it definitely was a shitty ass movie. I still have my Garbage Pail Kids, and so everybody who knows anything, everybody who knows anything about Garbage Pail Kids knows that movie sucked ass. There was nothing fun, redeeming.
That's a movie that deserves to be remade.
And that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, I wasn't saying that for once as a shitty segue.
But it worked as a shitty segue.
Yeah, it definitely was shitty. I have no problem with... Maybe that's the reason for Leprechaun. I have no problem with really awful movies being remade.
But what are they going to do with it? The Garbage Pail Kids are not even a culture icon.
There's not even a story behind Garbage Pail Kids. It was just so they could think up clever names and draw gross pictures.
Yeah.
And make fun of Cabbage Patch Kids.
Yeah, you're right.
Although having said that, though, Mars Attacks got started the same way. And I thought Mars Attacks was pretty funny.
I had a nightmare once about Mars Attacks. Rarely do I have any kind of nightmares that involve pop culture or movies. But I was surrounded by those aliens. And this is years later. This is like, I don't know, 6-7 years ago. And they were just screaming at me. And it was one just going, bah, 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 bah. It was like, what's going on? I love that movie. It's such a
good movie. But why would they? I mean,
Tom Jones.
Yeah.
What are they going to do with this movie?
I don't know, but you make a good point with the comparison to Mars Attacks because those were just trading cards.
Yeah.
No story whatsoever.
Yeah, I know. Well, I guess you could build a story out of anything.
But Mars Attacks, the name itself has a story built inside of it.
I suppose. Well, it has a verb.
That's what the Garbage Pail Kids need. They need a verb.
They need a verb. All they've got are nouns. Garbage pail, loosely an adjective. Maybe not an adjective, never. Kind of descriptional, but yeah, okay. So they need... You're right. They need a strong verb.
Garbage Pail Kids attack.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah. Because if I just turned on a show that said When Vacations...
Yeah.
or When Animals, I wouldn't watch it. But when Vacations or Animals attack on Fox, I'm there. So that's the key.
I don't know.
Hopefully an executive is listening to this show right now. Son of a bitch. We'll
they
have
need
him
a strong
attack.
verb.
I don't know. I just don't understand.
Let's go through our Dick and Jane books and see what goes.
I just don't see anybody putting money behind this, so we wouldn't have kick-ass special effects.
Right, yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of intrigued by the idea only because I want to see the cards come back.
But they would be no, because if the cards came back today, they would not be as good because they would be very
politically correct. Yeah, some of those were pretty bad.
They were way bad. What was it? I wanted to break out some of mine. There were some that were just really, really bad.
Yeah.
And that was okay back then. But
80s were an innocent time of nothing
of
but
discovery,
mutant kids and lots of coke and big hair and
I just don't. I don't know what it would
strong
be.
government. I don't know who's making it.
I never really.
There's no director. There's no actors attached to it.
What is this? Just like someone has an idea.
Well, they have the screenwriter who has either completed it or he's currently writing it. And I looked up his name and to see what he's attached to. He's attached to nothing.
Wow. Well, we should send him an email and send him a list of verbs. And hope for the best.
So he's like, I got this list.
I want a credit on this. Just put me at the end.
And thanks to Paul Casper.
It's for the great for mailing in the thesaurus with all the highlighted verbs.
But I really am puzzled because even the original movie didn't have a story plot to it. It didn't. It was just. I mean, it did, but it was.
Yeah. I don't know. It always looked like one of those weird movies that some movies you can look at for just 20 seconds and tell by the look of them you're not going to like them. Jan is like that more than I am. Like, she won't watch movies where people look too dirty. Like the movie Kingpin. Something like that, where people just look kind of gross and purposely... Not Kingpin. Yeah, what's the bowling one? Was that?
Yeah, it was Kingpin, yeah.
Yeah, where people just look
They look gross and skeevy.
Yeah. She's like, I don't want to watch that.
Yeah. When I think of people who look like dirty, I think of that movie, The Proposition, which was like a western that takes place in Australia.
That's a good fucking movie.
That and in that movie, people are dirty and desperate.
That is a rough movie.
Have you seen it?
I haven't.
There's that
really
scene
good.
in it where so basically the plot of the movie is Guy Pearce is going to sell out the members of his gang, and there's like. And then what happens is you see like the corrupt law in Australia. They eventually sort of pick off these gang members one by one, led by Guy Pearce. And but when they get the one guy and they get him into town and they're gonna give him 100 lashes, right? They're gonna he's gonna get 100 lashes with a whip, and so they tie him to the post and they start going to town on him. And it's really brutal and cruel, man. It's like, I don't know, like something out of the Passion of the Christ. It's really bad. But then they cut to this other scene where it showed like the people with like all dirty and flies flying around. And then they cut back to the guy getting the lashes. And the guy, and like every time he's hitting him with the whip, there's a guy calling out the number. He's like, 1. And the guy's like, ah. He's like, 2. Ah. Mm-hmm. So then they cut away from that, and then you see the guy's against the post, and he is a bloody mess. He's just really, really looking bad, and the guy's like wringing blood out of the whip, and it's really bad. And the guy goes 37. And I was like, ah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, there's like nothing left of that guy.
And then he died. He dies because of the lashes. It was gruesome.
Not that kind of dirty. Dirty like the lighting is ultraviolet. Yeah. Like just kind of a, I don't know. There's been a few that look like that. Even I'm like, yeah, I don't know. There's just something. I don't know. You can just watch them and you just go, I'm not gonna like that.
Did you ever see Spun?
No.
It was a movie about like meth addicts, and it had John Leguizamo in it, and it was the beginning of Mickey Rourke's sort of his second comeback career, because he's had like 3.
Right.
And
this third one's worked out for him.
Yeah. And it's fun. Jason Schwartzman is in it. Brittany Murphy, Mina Suvari. Right? Brittany Murphy, Mina Suvari. Beautiful, beautiful women. They have never looked worse. They have never looked worse than in that movie. Spun.
I hate it when you see like an actress that you've always had a little crush on. And
they were so awful.
I watched Requiem for a Dream.
It's like that.
Oh, my wife's not here. Sorry. I've always had a crush on Jennifer Connelly.
Right.
Awesome eyebrows. I don't know what it is. She's a great-looking girl. And even in that movie, she's still kind of good-looking, and then she kind of goes down, and then she's doing those parties, and she's on that double dong thing, and I was just like...
Yeah, again, never looked worse.
I should kind of be thrilled that you're doing something really dirty and disgusting, but I feel sorry for all of us. It's just... Yeah, you're just like, oh, man. And that's another movie, like... Everything looks kind of harsh to me. And if ever there was a movie that'll make you go,
I'm going to stay out of drugs.
that was it. I was like, you know what? Prescription pills, those are okay, right? Like, it's none of that. Requiem for a Dream. It's a rough fucking movie.
It is.
Good soundtrack, though.
Well, I mean, it's a good movie, and it's one of those movies.
It's a very good movie.
It's a really good movie, and after I saw it, I was like, "That is awesome! I'll never watch it again."
Yeah, like that and American History X.
Yeah.
Fantastic movie. Never want to see it again in my life.
Yep.
Same thing with
Spun's like that too. We always joke. We're like
District
nice
9.
Visit.
District 9 to me is a great movie.
The Alien movie?
Yeah, but I never.
Oh my god, I love that movie. I thought it was fantastic.
I love it. It's one of the best movies I've seen, but I don't ever want to see it again.
Why?
It was so harsh and brutal in it. To me, it's one of the saddest movies I've ever seen.
I mean, I agree.
It's up there with like The Children of Men for me, like as far as bleakness. And we're just a shitty race of people.
Yeah, we're awful.
Yeah,
we deserve it.
And in the beginning, when the guy's changing, I mean, it is amazingly done, and I feel so sorry for this guy. I feel so sorry. It's like watching Old Yeller. It's like, it's a good movie, but God damn it, I do not want to see that dog get shot one more time.
Yeah,
I had a golden retriever, god damn it, and I'm not gonna watch it. District 9 is fantastic.
I had to talk a lady out of renting.
I only got to see it once.
Yeah, Old Yeller the other day.
You talked her out of it?
Yeah, because she didn't know. She didn't know how it ended.
You should have.
You should have. No, you cannot deny a person.
Old Yeller is a passage that all children have to go through.
You cannot deny a person.
She was like, this is a good movie for kids, right? There's dogs in it, and I was like, that's phenomenal. It's great. She's like, okay, and I was like, you know how it ends, right? And she's like, no, I've never seen it. And I was like,
well, let me know how it goes.
That's what I would have left it as that.
I had to spoil the ending for her. I don't know. I just felt compelled to I was like, I didn't want to. Because her kids are running around, she was like, yeah, we're having a party. And
oh, shit.
You've let me down, Bob.
No, you may have been right on that one, but actually that would have been hilarious.
All the kids just
fucking 20 of their best friends all sitting around with little party hats on.
Parents will never let kids come to that.
Eating finger cookies, Murray's finger cookies. Of course, I'm just planting my childhood in there, but oh, that would have been awesome.
Yeah,
tears
screaming. Kids party and.
What do you think kids today would even be affected by it?
I don't know.
I mean, it depends.
I hope so.
I would hope so, because any mother that's willing to rent Old Yeller, I would imagine her kids aren't already watching.
But any mother who's willing to rent Old Yeller and doesn't know about Old Yeller?
Well, it's not that she's willing to rent Old Yeller and doesn't know. It's any mother that rents a movie that doesn't watch it first. It just takes things on face value. Well, that's not
if
good
you
parenting.
don't, how old was she?
I mean,
how old was she?
My parents couldn't have watched everything
maybe,
that we ever saw.
Hard to say. She was probably late 20s, mid 30s. The kids were 8 or 9.
Oh, so she missed the generation. She's not our.
You take your kid to a Disney movie, you've never seen it, but you think it's a kid's movie.
Yeah, fair enough. But
she should have. I mean, the party, not a. I don't know. I mean, we
wasn't
watched.
Old
No, wait.
Disney movie.
Wait. Back up. the party element's not bad because we watched it in school.
You watched that in
Well,
school?
We watched it in school. Yeah.
Well,
Well,
one,
it was
it's
Texas.
literature.
They were probably just showing you how to handle a gun properly.
No, they were saying this is what happens when rabies comes along.
Yeah, it's great.
Well,
They could-
that was also literature, right? It was
Yeah.
a novel first.
Yeah. I mean, we watched it in school. I remember watching it in elementary school.
I just watched it at home.
But I don't know, man. It's just that she just didn't know. I thought that was funny.
Well, I
Yeah,
guess
because
I
that
guess
is the classic. That is, I don't know.
but if she was 20,
that is the classic childhood trauma. That's like
Yeah.
the first, like one of the first memories you usually have of watching something you really cared about die on the screen.
Yeah.
but
Other
if she,
than-
but if she was in her 20s, I can understand why she doesn't
Yeah, she
know
would
about
have
this
missed
film.
it. I mean,
Because that's our generation, and that's Bob or Paul's
it was old
generation.
then.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
But-
it,
but
right. It
there
was
were-
old when I was a little kid.
But
there
we were the last
channels
gener-
that were playing it still. I haven't seen that movie on TV, and
Yeah,
Since I was a kid.
I've never seen it on
Yeah.
TV. Well, we watched it in school, and it was
but
it.
damn, that would have been amazing. A kids' party watching.
it should have
It
been
was.
like, no, you get this one for free, but I get to come along.
Yeah,
No, just set up this camera and bring it back to me.
it's gonna send a live
Won't sound
feed.
creepy at all, but it's okay. I just want to go.
That would have been awesome. She would. Well, you didn't even have to go. You just have to be there when she returns the video.
Yeah.
So how was it? It was like watching that movie Marley and Me. Did you ever see that one too?
So here's the thing.
it's a
I
good,
didn't.
fun
I didn't
movie.
watch Marley and Me because I can't watch a movie anymore where the dog dies. Cannot
Well,
do
let
it.
me tell you, I didn't fucking know the dog was gonna die. I was like, I gotta get another glass of water from the kitchen. You know, go in. And Jan would be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, that's sad," and I'd be like, "Yeah, I guess." And then I'd be like, leaning my head to the left so all the shit would run down. I'm tearing up thinking about it. Look at that. I cry at a drop of a hat. I had to switch antidepressant medications, and like the slightest thing, like I can't believe that butterfly died and it's only a week old. What a cruel world. You know, it's ridiculous now. I'm just
Well,
my mom's the same way, man. All you have to say to my mother is, remember that scene in Dumbo where they took him away from her? And she'll just fucking gush. It's just insane.
Miley,
Well, having said all that, I can see where you get a little choked up when he puts the flower in District 9 on the he's the alien.
Wait, back up.
Moving up. When he's sitting there making that thing, oh my God. I was like, God, I hope that guy comes back. I hope he comes back. Can this guy make it for 2 years? Can he really come back and change him?
Maybe.
I don't know. Oh, man. And that guy was such a good actor, and he had never been in a movie before.
Yeah, that was a good movie. And now I see District 9 in a whole new light.
Yeah. It is amazing. It's just that shit's just too much emotion for me. And sometimes I don't want to give that much to the movie. I think it's from being having anxiety issues. I talked to another guy about it. He was like, "Yeah, man, I take stuff for anxiety." He said, "When I was a kid, he's like, I used to love the Flintstones and I was the same way as a kid. But about like 5-10 minutes in, everything's going good. He's like, but I kind of didn't want to finish watching it because I knew Fred was gonna fuck something up, and problems were gonna happen, and I didn't like the
Don't do it,
tension."
Fred.
Yeah,
Don't
it's
do
like-
it.
Yeah, and sometimes I'm the same way. I'm like, I can't handle that right now. I can't believe Joey from Friends would not invite them to the party. And I don't know, some days are better than others. But District 9 is just too much to handle right now.
You got me thinking about like poignant movies now too. Did you like Up? Did you see Disney's Up?
Oh, my
Disney's
God.
Up I can watch over and over again.
Really?
It's select ones.
They didn't fuck you up?
Sadness is at the beginning.
Yeah.
That's the secret. That's the secret to Bambi. That's the secret to Dumbo. The sadness all takes place in the first 15 minutes. The Lovely Bones, awesome movie.
Right.
She doesn't die at the very end.
And dies.
Yeah. What Dreams May Come.
Right.
Really a sad movie throughout.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you find she's in the lowest level of hell, but in the end, it ends a good.
Works out.
Yeah, death happens in the beginning for both of them, so and that's not true. I mean, I do like sad movies too, but Up was a fucking shocker because I wasn't expecting any of that. I'm like, oh, this looks so cute. Look, there's that old man with that little fat kid. This is gonna be fun.
Right?
No balloons. Shit. We went to go see it at the theater.
And you're watching the beginning. You're like, oh man. Look, this kid loves adventure this time. Oh, they're spending their whole life. Oh. You know?
Yeah, I got choked up in like the first 10 minutes, and I was like, "Oh God, what have I done?"
Oh my God, we went to go see it at the theater in 3D, and Miley and I we went into it thinking it was just going to be a Pixar movie, whatever.
Right. It's like watching the Lorax. It's just
we walked out there with fountains going. We're just like, what the fuck now?
The movie.
And wait, it hit us so hard. See that little dinosaur down there? That's our little savings.
That's
your what?
Because of the movie. That's our savings.
To go to what's the falls?
That was where we put all of our Iceland money.
Yeah.
And we went there, and that's where we put our money.
So if you come in,
we will move it after the show.
10 paces to the left, and
but it's because of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
When they had the jar.
Yeah.
And they had their dreams.
Was delightful.
It was an excellent
It's a great movie. But you're right. 10 minutes in, and Jan's like, "Why would they do this? Who does this? This is trickery."
That was an epic movie.
Yeah, that is a good.
So
movie.
I remember, sometimes when they do the sadness in movies, right? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's misguided.
Yeah.
I do remember. Do you remember the movie with Michael? It was the movie was called Michael, and it had John Travolta as the angel Michael.
Right.
And,
I never saw that.
In the movie, the two deaths take place.
Mm-hmm.
One is an old woman, and one is a dog. The dog gets hit by a car. The woman just sort of dies of old age.
Mm-hmm.
The woman dies, and everybody goes, eh. The dog dies. The whole theater's in tears.
We're really accustomed to seeing human death.
Well, I know. I think it's funny.
Well, the funny thing is, Lloyd Kaufman, the founder and president of Troma Studios, the Toxic Avenger and all those.
Yeah.
All of his movies, they were just hardcore, just gore, everything.
Yeah.
He said that the only scene that he's received the most emails, letters, phone calls, everything is in the Toxic Avenger when they shoot the dog in the restaurant.
Yeah.
He said people freaked the fuck out.
There's bloody carnage going on all over that movie.
There were people in that scene that are getting limbs ripped off. And the scene with the dog is and he slides across the floor and that's it.
Yeah.
People freak the fuck out.
The movie that I probably cried the most at when it was like, oh my god, when the remake of King Kong.
Yeah, that was pretty sad.
Do not show me a fucking ape being shot at by a plane. I will cry like a motherfucker.
Yeah, that was
a rough movie. And I remember as a kid, same thing with the original. Vaguely, I don't have a real vivid memory of it, but at some point I saw it. And the original King Kong, that shit'll make you cry as a kid.
Yeah.
I mean,
you want to hear an interesting story about the 33 King Kong? The filmmakers were two guys, and they realized, and back then when you made a movie, you shot it from start to finish, beginning to end, right? You sort of shot things in order. That's just was the logical way to do things. Right. But then that's changed. So they're getting to the end of production, and they're like, they realize that kind of like people are going to like King Kong, right? And so in the movie, they sort of as a way to, I guess, I don't know, do justice to this character that they created, they're the two guys in the plane that shoots Kong and knocks him off the Empire State Building.
That's pretty
they
awesome.
They were like, well, we made him, so it falls to us to do him in. We're going to have to be the ones that knock him down. And I think that's awesome. I mean, that shows, reverence for that sort of hero, anti-hero that they created. That's kind of a cool story.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I get it, Peter Jackson, you loved it, but I don't know if the Peter Jackson was better than the original, although it does have its own merits. But I got all choked up when that.
Well, to me, it's just a newer version. I wouldn't say one's better than the other. I mean, the originals are always nice because
in fact, I think that Peter Jackson maybe did a better job of making you more sympathetic.
Yeah.
to Kong.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, he was. Because in the 33, he was pretty mean. Anytime, man, if I watch a movie, it's got a dog or something in it, I'm like, nothing better happened to that dog. I swear to God, I'm gonna freak the fuck out. Even it doesn't even have to be a dog. Even in that movie.
So how are you with Cujo?
Yeah. It's been a long time since.
I've never watched Cujo.
Remember the CGI movie from, I guess, 2 summers ago, How to Train Your Dragon?
Oh, yeah.
That was great. I love that movie.
That was a cute little movie.
Yeah, towards the end, when they got the dragon on the boat, I was like, something happens to that dragon, I swear to God.
Yeah. Is he ever going to
better
heal?
be okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's liven it up a little bit more and talk about something that will lift our spirits and not make us cry so much. They're doing a new Robocop movie.
Mistake.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they already built the statue in Detroit.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Leave it alone, man.
Yeah.
You got a statue in Detroit, just leave it at that.
Don't do it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, anybody who wants to make money from it.
It is so good.
It's such a great product of its time era. I mean, it epitomizes everything that's excessive about when it was made.
Did I ever tell you RoboCop has a special place in my heart because I was in high school when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my buddies, we've got a night off. You know, we're working like this shitty job at a grocery store.
Right.
And so we call up this one friend of mine, and he's working at it's not K, maybe KB Toys. It was like some toy store. I think it was KB. And he was supposed to go with us to go see RoboCop, and we're like, hey, we're gonna go see RoboCop. We call him up, and pre-cell phones. I'm calling him at the store.
Right, yeah. I remember those.
Yeah. and we're like, hey, we're gonna go see RoboCop, and he's like, oh, I gotta work. Hold on. And he goes away from me. He comes back. He's like, all right, I'll meet you there. I'm going. I was like, really? You got off? He's like, nope, I quit. And I was like, ever since I was always like, man, RoboCop was a movie so awesome that my buddy quit his job.
Well, the first one was that awesome.
Pretty fantastic.
And I remember going too. I was like, man, this movie better be awesome because he just quit his job.
But the first one was that awesome. It was.
First one's
awesome.
good.
Did you watch the there's a I don't want to say it's new, but there's the most recent, edit transfer of RoboCop on DVD, and it has some really cool interviews with the guy who was Boddicker, and the filmmaker is Paul Verhoeven. And it was one of Verhoeven's first American films because he was a Dutch filmmaker, and he was known in his early movies because he did like The Fourth Man and stuff like that. He's known for like blood and guts and violence and sex and ultra violence.
That's a violent fucking movie.
It is.
It is.
It's great. And I forget who the actor's name is. Not Boddicker. The other guy I remember is the guy who was. The slimy guy for OCP is Miguel Ferrer, and he has some cool stories to talk about. But the guy who was Boddicker was saying that when they're filming he has a funny story when they're filming the scene when they bring Boddicker in after RoboCop roughs him up, and he's supposed to say the line. RoboCop says, "Book him," and what do you do? He's a cop killer. And they're like, all right. And he was supposed to deliver the line, just give me my fucking phone call, right? And he was saying, like, yeah, that's all I was supposed to do was to say that line. And he said it was his idea to spit his teeth and blood out on the forms before he says the line. And he was like, I had no idea that Verhoeven was a blood nut. Because I made that suggestion. And he said Verhoeven was like, yes, do that. That's delightful. Because Verhoeven couldn't speak English really well then. And so that was pretty funny. And then Miguel Ferrer tells a story that it's that scene where Miguel Ferrer is the slimy OCP guy, and he's already, the Robocop program is successful, and he's got the hookers in his apartment, and he's like doing coke off their tits and stuff, and that's when Boddicker comes in, and he walks into the room, and his line is "bitches leave," and then they're all like, "Oh god, they call me," right? And
I do remember that part. Yeah.
So
just because there's boobies.
when they're
No,
blocking,
actually, it was on TV the other day. That part.
when they're blocking the scene, again, Verhoeven doesn't speak very good English, and so he's like, "Okay, you go over here, oh bitches, you go over here, bitches, you stand here, bitches, you stand there."
That's awesome.
He didn't know what it meant.
That's funny.
See, perfect movie, doesn't have to be redone.
So
Yeah,
with that said again, do you think it will hold to the gore factor since we've kind of cut back on the gore on films minus Saw?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That movie was just like the perfect 80s sci-fi action movie. It just was so over the top from start to finish. And you can do that now, but it's not the same. I don't know. There's a vibe.
They would
to
probably
those.
do it with like heavy CGI. And one of the things that made RoboCop great is that it was practical effects.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not going to look the same or as good.
So what would be a movie that would be similar?
As RoboCop.
So you would probably be like, he would look like Iron Man or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah.
Well, you know, one of the strengths of the Iron Man costume is that it's as practical as they can make it. It's as much a real life suit as they could possibly do. They went to every effort to make it a real life suit.
So if they do that with the RoboCop remake, would you be happy with?
No,
that would be a step in the right direction.
I've always liked being able to see his mouth and chin. To me, it's very cyborg. I'd hate to. Well, I mean, it's essentially what it is. But I'd hate to see him completely covered because I like knowing that he's still a human.
Not necessarily completely covered. I'm just saying, like his outfit and stuff.
Well, yeah, but Iron Man is completely covered, right?
I mean, but it's not the fact that you can't see Tony Stark's face. It's that when they show Iron Man, when Iron Man's on screen, it's really a guy in a suit. For as much as they could possibly.
Yeah.
do.
No. I'm saying if they remade RoboCop, I kind of like the design. I want to see some flesh. I don't want to see.
Well, like I don't think they would do the full mask just because.
Oh well, I thought that's what you were asking.
No. I was just talking about how the
like a dude in a suit as opposed.
Well, no, just there's a lot of CGI in Iron Man.
And
there's a lot of CGI.
Yeah. There is, but to the
Iron Man
the extent
pretty
possible.
Good.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying is like the caliber of Iron Man put to RoboCop.
You were saying suit design for the new look of RoboCop.
No, because the closest movie that we have now is Iron Man.
Yeah.
No, in fact, I would say if you were gonna make a RoboCop movie, you got to have that visor. And
you got to have it. You got to keep
because that's almost an iconic look now.
Yeah. That is an iconic look. The gun and the face.
In fact, there's a statue about it.
Yeah.
There's a statue for it.
You can't change it.
It's amazing that has even been built.
Yeah, well, that's cool.
Yeah, it is amazing.
Well, there's nothing else in
Nothing else going on up there right now.
Detroit, whatever.
Fuck that place.
I don't know, man. Why? That's again, RoboCop is one of those near perfect movies that doesn't need to be
like Total
remade.
Recall.
Yes, another Verhoeven movie.
Oh, is it really the same guy? Because they have the exact same flavor.
Yeah,
like the way.
And that's probably
why. I love the way the buildings here he's in and the cab he goes in. Has that slant. It's like it came from Aliens, but not quite as harsh. You know, a little more practical. And I love all the 80s slants on everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. I didn't know it was the same guy. Two movies that should be left alone.
Yeah,
but won't be.
But won't be right.
I mean, obviously they're doing RoboCop. There's been talk for ages doing another Total Recall.
Yeah.
So.
Unless they make a 4-boobed woman, they will never top that 3-boobed one. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it does. Yeah, it's just a shame. Even Sharon Stone is good in it.
Yes.
And that's hard to.
I know. I watched a movie with her years ago called Scissors that I haven't been able to find since, where she ends up being made to go insane and ends up at a psych ward. And yeah. I was staying up to watch
her best movie is basically
on Cinemax, like when I was 14 or something, and that came on, and it was a delightful surprise.
It's the late night Skinemax movie. I am watching it.
It was even better than what followed it, which was like Emmanuel and
Yeah,
John.
yeah.
I don't know, but
No, the best movie back in those days was Romancing the Stone and Jewel of the Nile.
you know, we had those on tape, and they were in that order,
Right.
back to back. Yeah, I've watched. I
Romancing
don't think
the
I've
Stone
sat
was
as an
great.
adult and
It was.
watched.
I mean, it's funny. It's one of those guilty pleasure movies. It's
Jewel
like
of the
one-
Nile, not so much.
No.
Is that the one where they're after the big green? Yeah.
That's the stone.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever watched it all the way through.
Yeah.
I've seen it all in chunks.
what was that?
but-
Kirk Douglas? Or not-
Yeah.
Mike Douglas.
Mike Douglas.
Mike Douglas and Kathleen Turner.
Yeah.
That is
And
a
then
good
Danny
movie.
DeVito, and then I forget who the
That's
other guy
right.
is.
That's so funny though. I mean, because I would
Yeah,
watch
my
that and
parents
I'd be
had that on
like,
tape. Ruthless People, all of those.
El Corazon.
I've never seen that movie. I just remember the cover because they had hair dryers and duck masks on.
Romancing the Stone was a lot of fun. Jewel of the Nile, not so much.
Yeah.
That was an unnecessary sequel.
yeah, but they
That
just
was
did it
so
because Romancing the Stone did so well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like Crocodile Dundee. Good first movie.
Yeah.
You know. guilty
Unnecessary
pleasure.
sequel.
Yeah.
Unnecessary third, too.
And a fourth, I think.
Was there a fourth? Really?
Yes.
I think there was. That was the one in L.A.
L.A., right.
Yeah,
Crocodile
with
Dundee does
Mike
L.A.
Tyson.
Oh,
That was,
He ended
what's
up
the actor's
marrying
name?
her.
Paul Hogan, just looking to get a paycheck.
Yeah. I haven't done work since Almost an Angel.
Yeah, yeah.
So-
that's sad. So moving on, Halloween 3D has been pushed off the release calendar.
Now, is this a remake of Halloween?
No, this is
or-
supposed to be part 3. Well, nobody really knows. It was supposed to be part 3, and it was going to be in 3D. It was supposed to be Rob Zombie who's going to do it. Rob Zombie backed out of it. Then they were like, well, it's going to be a remake, or it's just going to be a new chapter.
A remake of Part 3, the original?
No, yeah, because that would be great.
Yeah, well, maybe that's why he backed out. I
Yeah,
mean,
man, so nobody really knows the story of what Halloween 3D was going to be, but it's been removed from the calendar. Before it was going to be made. Now it's kind of fallen into an abyss. So no word on that, which is kind of sad. I mean, I bet it gets back on the calendar if Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D does well.
Yeah.
it's possible, yeah.
But and again, both of those films are kind of juggling right now. Well, Halloween 3D is no longer. It's been scrapped.
I
But
wonder when the Crocodile Dundee remake's going to come out.
Yeah, I know, right?
give it
You know,
time.
I rented that from a 7-Eleven. Remember when 7-Eleven did video rentals?
They
Yeah.
do rentals.
They used to. They had a period where they had one aisle of videos, and you would go in and you could rent a video.
Well, they still have an aisle of videos now, but you just buy them.
You just buy them. No, this was a rental. 7-Eleven rentals.
Really?
Yeah.
I never knew.
It was really. It was like a year or two they did it.
Weird.
I don't know if it was just in this area or what, but
That's kind of sketchy just in itself.
hey, man, there
We
used to
used
be
to-
video rental places everywhere. Remember, there were just like all these mom and pop
Yeah,
places.
the mom and pop places were the best. 'Cause
Yeah,
they had,
there was one right up in the shopping center close that they built near where I lived, and I was returning a video, and a guy that worked there said, "Hey man, could you come behind the counter and watch this while I go move my car around to the back?" I was like, "Yeah, whatever." So I go around the back, and he's got a fucking loaded gun just sitting there, and I was like, okay, every film I ever saw in school, sit down, running through my head. It's never seen a gun before as a kid.
in the town that I grew up in, we had a mom and pop video store that was almost a city block. That's how big the store was.
Jeez.
It was fucking awesome. I loved it. It was-
Now, all the ones here were about the size of your apartment.
Yeah.
They're all dingy and cool.
Yeah, no, that's the way this one was too. It was
Yeah.
like creepy. You're like,
They were packed in. You got to move everything.
We used
Yeah.
to rent, when I was a kid, we rented videos from this place, and I swear to God, I'm not making this up. It was Tropical Exotics, Tropical Fish, and Video Rentals.
That's amazing.
The guy had a fish
I'm going to
store where
combine
he
all my
sold-
passions into one thing.
He did. It was like one half of the store he had
There's going to be a
Tropical Fish,
cappuccino bar.
and the
back
other
one
half
day.
was he rented movies.
That's
That is
awesome.
awesome. All about salt water.
Yeah, I think renting movies business back then was so easy to start up.
Yeah, I think so. You know, there are definitely some pluses to like using Netflix and all of that, but I really do miss going to the video store. I mean, that was, you know, it was like going to buy a CD. You're kind of shopping, and it's just fun.
I missed looking at the covers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And reading the back, but I really don't miss going and renting the films.
No, well, but I mean, it's not like I miss driving and going and all the other people, but I do miss picking them up, especially like, you know, the horror section where you, especially when you were younger, you know.
Well, we always have these memories of like there was always one movie cover that stuck with you, like the Evil Dead 2 cover.
I'll tell you what it is for me, Future Kill.
I've
Never saw that movie.
And Dead Alive, the cover of Dead Alive.
Yeah, that's the one.
That
I always wanted to see that.
and Altered States with the guys like.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
I've seen Altered States a lot of times.
Yeah, okay, I've never seen it.
But I know exactly what you're talking about.
But yeah, those posters, the covers of the totally painted the picture better than the film could ever have
you get
been.
this, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I mean, which is cool.
Well,
you know, what are you gonna do?
Not
I
a
mean,
narrow video.
I know that's true. I live kind of a ways away. But
Why aren't they sponsoring us now?
Yeah, right.
but yeah, I mean, there's definitely, you know, I guess it's like the people that like to still go shopping for records and stuff. It's fun to go through, and
There is, but you know,
and there's also stuff that I wouldn't find on my own, you know. And you're like, what's this? I love the employee pick section.
yeah,
you know?
yeah, we
like,
have that.
Yeah. What is Gerald like? You know, and I miss that stuff.
We, you know, what's funny too is because we have like the employees pick section, and there's like a little shelf with everybody's name on it, and admittedly, I'm the one that cares the least about that. So mine's like all the way on the bottom, which is kind of shameful to admit, but yet there it is. And the owner of the store, Tim, you know, his shelf is like right up top at eye level, and he takes it very seriously. I mean, like really seriously. And sometimes, and I don't think that anybody does this on purpose, or at least I don't know. Maybe I'll get somebody to do it. But you know, sometimes when customers are like browsing around, they don't really know or care, or it's not. But if they have something in their hand, they just tend to put it back wherever. Sometimes that happens. And occasionally there's been a movie on his shelf, like a cover box on his shelf that he didn't put there, or that he doesn't like. And I don't know how it got there. I didn't put it there, but maybe somebody did, or maybe a customer did. However it got there is not the point. But when he sees that, he flips a sticky wicket, man. He was like, "Who put this on my shelf? This movie is awful. Why would this be there?"
Like that massage
he has a
movie.
fit.
That's what you should put up.
That VHS massage movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want to know what we're talking about, you have to go see our Alice Sweet Alice video.
Yeah, that
ZombiePopcorn.com.
But you know, it's fun though. It's fun though when people are like, you know, kind of browsing around and they want to see something. And you know, like sometimes you have like great interactions with customers, and it's fun. But then sometimes it's like people will say like, "What's the funniest movie you've ever seen?" Or
Yeah.
you know, I'm
Depends
just
on
like,
my
Speaking of, Gallagher had a heart attack in
Yes.
Texas.
Is he
He's
still alive?
mild
He's still alive, yeah.
to mild to like medium.
yeah, well, he's
heart
getting
attack.
up there.
Yeah, he was getting ready to do a show.
The real Gallagher or the brother that stole?
No, the real Gallagher.
okay.
The real Gallagher.
Yeah.
I always
like,
thought he was
it's
pretty
like the
funny,
whole
very
Christian
creative.
death thing.
I'd say
Just-
the funny thing is when
Gallagher is funny.
well, okay, people said that, and when I first heard about him having the heart attack in Texas, everybody's like, "Yeah, he's really funny." But what do you remember about Gallagher? What is his skit?
You're talking about the Sledge-O-Matic is the one that everybody remembers the most.
Or the props?
Yeah, well,
but what is?
he's
But
definitely a prop
wait.
comedian.
What? But without the chest that he pulls out, the big couch, and the watermelon, what is his jokes?
I'll tell you. The one I remember, I'll answer that question.
Do
Thank
it.
you for asking.
You would be the first one.
I'll take Gallagher trivia for 5 months.
He had a whole series about the English language and about how none of it made sense when he was in school. And he's like, comb? Where's the B? There's no comb. So he erases the C. tome. No, that's tomb.
Yeah.
And he does a whole thing about how, this doesn't work. I ain't gonna make sense of the English language if the English language don't make sense, and he goes through all these words like that. So that
I've seen him. I saw him do a skit where it was very similar like that, but he wasn't on a blackboard. He had like a board with like cards that flipped over, and he would flip the cards over, and it would be letters.
Just the evolution of
them. He was spelling words on this board, and making funny observations about like how things get misspelled and changed around, and it was very, very funny. And it was. I remember it being very funny at the time, and I could never repeat it because it was so complicated and almost intellectual, right?
Yeah.
And I agree. It's a far sight from smashing a watermelon with a sledgehammer.
Right. But I mean, he's a mix of, but he does use objects in his comedy, so you will remember.
How fascinating do you find it that he's been doing this since like the 60s, 70s? Early 70s,
who was it
at
that
least.
said, was it Burroughs that said success is survival?
Yeah, but he's been doing the same thing.
Success is survival.
Yeah.
So have the Rolling Stones.
Well, that's different. I mean,
No, it's not.
well, when it comes to stand-up comedians, it is. Jeff Foxworthy, for example.
I guess like most comedians, they'll change their act, they'll add bits, take bits away.
Yeah.
But I guess it just goes to show
you got
that
40 years of shit to recycle. You can, something new. It's something for everybody.
Or it goes to show you that smashing a watermelon is always funny.
Yeah. It's like fart jokes. They're never going to go out of style. Yeah, I mean, I assume it's like doing any job for that long. You still have a product and you try and keep it new, but you keep what people like about the original.
Yeah.
You're just always refining it.
And his
It's like saying you've been making the same bottle of wine.
Well, and I guess the thing that makes him
and
be
it's
able
all
to do this.
observational humor.
Yeah.
So I mean, as times change, the jokes change, and you're just observing the ridiculousness.
He still kept the hat with the fake hair.
Well, he's got a trademark.
Yeah, he definitely has a trademark look.
Yeah,
I watched a program on Bob Ross the other day, the painter, little fluffy clouds, like that. He originally had really nice hair. It was all combed and slicked back, but he was really poor for a while, so he thought if he permed it, he wouldn't have to spend money on haircuts.
Yeah,
and so that fro was permed, and then they made these paints in that time, and he started getting big, and he was like, crap. Now I have this image. And he hated his hair, but he kept perming it because that's his image.
That was his look.
Yeah, I mean, that people remembered him,
Damn it.
That's funny.
McDonald's could totally change their menu tomorrow, but they're going to keep that M.
Yeah.
The golden arches. It's just, it's
so he could go out in the public with his hair all flat and shit. Nobody would recognize.
Yeah, right.
Nobody would know.
I mean, it's your product, I guess.
That's funny. All right, but moving on because we're almost running out of time. Remember Repo, the Genetic Opera?
Yeah, it was fun.
Great, I loved it. It was awesome. Well, the crew that created that film is back now with the Devil's Carnival. Ogre's back in it.
The title alone will make me go watch.
It's awesome because it's about Lucifer.
It looks good.
It does look.
But one of the problems I had with the Genetic Opera was that it was just that, an opera. Like, I don't mind musicals. In fact, I'm like secure enough in my manlyhood to say, like, there's some musicals I really like.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some like some musicals are really, really good. But the problem with the Genetic Opera is there was no dialogue because it was all sung.
Right.
And I don't know. It's just I'm not that into the music, and so I think that the narrative suffered from having to sing all of the dialogue when they could have just said it and then had a feature song.
I kind of like it when it's all done because then it's just this world of music and not why are they breaking out into song. To me, the whole world is song as opposed to.
Well, I guess I mean we're definitely coming at it from two different things. Because I was talking with somebody about that very thing, and I was saying, like, well, it's just in the world of the musical, you just do that. It's just, It's okay to break into song. That's just happens.
Well, I mean, like Mary Poppins, it's okay to do. That's what happens.
Fantastic music.
Like, Evil
Mary
Dead the
Poppins,
musical.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
Evil Dead.
Oliver Twist.
Yeah, I just I don't know. I guess maybe I
know what you're saying.
Get bored
though.
with
it's another song.
But
I want to hear what they
think,
have to say, but then I'm like, the song.
But I think if you were invested in
Sarah Brightman's part was just so awful.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
if you were invested in the characters, like the people who went to go see that because the lead singer of Skinny Puppy's in it, Ogre's in it, loved it because it was a new take on.
It was a fun world.
It was a fun world,
fun, but it was
it
was.
And they did a remake that wasn't a musical.
It wasn't really a remake.
Well, it was the same story.
They kind of took the idea.
It's based off of a book, isn't it? So it's like I think it is. So I think it's like two movies based off the same premise.
Yeah.
Because they're too closely related.
They were way, way, way.
And
related.
I want to say it's based off of somebody else's work.
Well, I'm sure it is.
Probably Philip K. Dick.
But this time,
you're probably right.
This time they don't have Sarah Brightman in Devil's Carnival. They have Emily Autumn, which she is a dull punk rock violinist.
She's so overrated.
Yeah, but see, one of the things that I think they might.
Her music's not very good.
Like some of it's good. I enjoy some of it.
I mean, it might be cool to have all of these rock icons in it, but dude, Mick Jagger never made a movie that was worth a shit.
But these people are not rock icons. They're
Free Jack.
I was just thinking of that.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But these people are not Mick Jagger level. These are underground pop culture type.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they're good actors.
These are people that
Ogre.
need to work.
Well, let's back it up. Ogre, his whole career of Skinny Puppy and even his side project
characters. Yeah.
Yeah, he loves the theatrical. Download was created because Kevin wanted to break away from the theatrical and make music.
Yeah, but there's an instance where somebody may be really good on stage because that is the theatrical, but somebody may not be very good on screen.
Well, and Ogre did really well. I liked Ogre's part.
I mean, it wasn't a huge part or anything.
And neither was Paris Hilton.
No, and she was decent in it.
And that's hard to say.
Yeah. But I know what you're saying. I mean, you get all these people, but.
But did you see the new trailer?
Some people can do more than one thing.
Because on Zombie Popcorn we put the preview on there where it was the Lucifer following Emily Austin's character around and kind of just drooling over it. But there's a new trailer that just recently came out that actually.
So is this one musical as well?
This is done by the same people.
Right, but are they doing a full musical? I mean.
I think
it will be a full musical, and it said that it contained a couple original songs done by the same crew.
But and characters from the Genetic Opera have crossed over into this, and I think it's
the actors have, the characters are different.
The characters are different. That's right. But I think it's interesting because.
All right, so here's the thing. I want it to be good. I really do. I want it to be good, and I want to see it, and I want it to be really, really cool. But it seems like it's riding on more about look at all these cool, crazy people that are involved.
But I think they did that with Genetic, though.
They did, and I think that takes away from the movie. I think that's one of the movie's failings.
I think that's what made me go see Genetic is because Ogre was in it. I was like. I didn't know about it, but I was reading about Skinny Puppy because they were coming. Mm-hmm. We were looking, and I saw the film, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't know he was in this," and that's what triggered me to see it because I didn't know he was in the film. I
kind of know what you're saying though. Like that movie, remember the Doom Generation?
That movie was awful.
Fucking movie.
Yeah, that's a Greg Araki movie.
Yeah, but it was like one of those that had like all these people in it that you were supposed to be like, "Oh, we're cool. We're gonna go see the Doom."
Yeah,
it's one of the worst movies ever made.
But again,
and then it also reminds me of the the Gene. What's it called? It's got Beiling in it. Whatever her name is, the Asian chick.
Oh, Beiling.
It's not the Gene Generation. That's all I can think now. Fuck, V&V Nation did some of the scoring. Combi Christ has the video. Get Your Body Beat.
I think I know the movie you were talking about, and Gene Generation is really close.
Maybe that is.
I think that really is the title.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it's like so, but it doesn't quite hit. It just falls short of being good. So I don't know.
Now, the whole idea of like a Satan's wicked carnival freak show. Yeah, I'm down for that.
Well, it's supposed to be 3 stories. I mean, if you watch the trailer, you see him with the Aesop's Fables book.
I'll tell you how you make that movie good. You get rid of the rock stars and you give the roles to like Doug Jones, and you send it out to the Rick Baker practical effects guys, and you get Guillermo del Toro to direct it.
Yeah.
I mean, really, that's.
But
that guy seems like he's trading on the names of the people involved, not the story and the
okay.
production.
Well, let's back up. It's the same people who did Genetic. Genetic visually was awesome. Yeah. The story was good. It could have been better, but I think what makes Genetic is good is that it is not these big name people. It is not the normal.
Because
routine.
I mean, really, the majority of people are gonna go, "Who the fuck is Ogre?"
Yeah. And that's
Paris Hilton was the biggest star.
Was the biggest
movie.
star, and the biggest
she had
star,
the smallest role.
And the biggest star in this one is going to be Bill Moseley.
Yeah,
and
most people aren't going to know.
Forgetting Sean Patrick Flannery.
No one's going to know who Emily Autumn is. I mean, there will be a market that knows. And
that's who it's catering to.
I'm not. Well, yeah. I mean, it can't just be geared to that market, or it wouldn't make enough money.
Seems like it is.
I mean, that's what Genetic was. It was geared towards that. It was geared to the Metropolis audience.
Right, but it can't just be geared towards that because
it didn't hit theatrical release. So yeah, it can.
No, but I'm saying other people are going to rent it. Sci-fi fans are going to rent it. Horror fans are going to rent it. It's not going to be someone that goes, "I like industrial music. I'm going to go buy this." Because this has this guy in it.
Right, but
why did you see it? You saw Genetic, right?
Yeah.
Why did you watch it?
Because it seemed like a cool sci-fi movie, and I was disappointed.
Why did you see it?
I saw it because you told me it looked good, and you gave me a copy.
Yeah.
So that's how I saw. Actually, I lost the copy and then had to rent it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I would have watched it even if Ogre wasn't in it, and I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
At first, we weren't sure. Yeah, because
we talked about it for months.
I do not like musicals, especially Jan. So we're like, all right, if this gets annoying after the first 10 minutes, we'll take it out.
I guess my point is, it's going to be successful in that market audience, you said, who know who these people are. Right. And right now, it's trading strictly on the name recognition of that small niche audience.
Which is a very small niche.
But also, it could be better.
Yeah, but you know what? It's kind of like saying Tim Burton should really drop the same people every movie and get some new people.
But he also appeals to a wide audience.
Well, he does, but just because you're
I don't mind a film being
as just because you're making a movie doesn't mean it has to be the top.
Yeah, I don't mind a film not catering to a large group.
Tim Burton makes those movies with the same actors that have the same name recognition now because he can. Right, because he can, I'm hoping that Dark Shadows isn't him just phoning it in.
What if this guy, the team that's making this, really like working with the people?
I mean,
because
really
honestly,
good,
if I was going to make something and I was inviting musicians to be in it, a movie, it would all be the same.
We got to back up and know who these people are. These are the people who made the Saw franchise. Is making Genetic Opera and who's making The Devil's Carnival.
Well, they're involved with the Saw franchise. The first Saw movie was directed by James Wan, who went on to do Insidious, which we all loved.
Right.
What is Daryl Bossman?
He may have been like an executive producer or something. I don't know. We'd have to look.
But I'm saying
I don't know.
I'm gonna look it up.
If I was like producing and writing or doing whatever for this movie, directing, and I got to pick who got to do the soundtrack in it, I would be picking bands that I loved.
Yeah.
And even if they were like halfway decent actors, if they proved to be halfway decent actors, I would put them in because I like their style, their vision, their this, their that. And if I made a second one, I'd go back to the same things that I like. I wouldn't be like, oh, I can get Danny Elfman now. I would want the music that I want and the people that I want.
Here's the guy who's that's doing The Devil's Carnival. He's the director of Devil's Carnival. He did 11-11-11, which I haven't seen. It's that new movie that came out.
That's not out yet.
Is it not out? He did Saw 2, 3, and 4, Fear Itself, the TV series.
And he's the director?
He's the director of these films. He did Butterfly Dreams, which was a short. Identity Lost. Mother's Day. And then he wrote Saw 2. He produced The Barons, and he was the executive producer of Repo the Genetic Opera, and he actually directed Repo. And then he did the X-Files TV series. He was just a crew member on that.
See, I think for the Saw franchise, he was a director for hire.
Yeah, he did 3 different Saw. He wrote and directed Saw 2. And he directed Saw 3 and Saw 4.
Well, that's not exactly an impressive.
No, I hate the Saw movies. I hate the Saw movies.
No, but Repo was an okay movie, but it's not exactly a great impressive movie either. So it's a cool, fun movie, and some people like it, some people don't, just like the Saw movies. So, I mean, I don't think this guy's trying to like ride on anybody's coattails.
Yeah, I think he's trying to do original stuff. I mean, because
he genuinely likes these people.
All right. Well, like I said, I want it to be good. I hope it's good.
I really do too, because I like genetic opera. I would like to see this genre grow and become better. I mean, yeah, it wasn't perfect. There's a lot of stuff that could have changed with genetic, but I love that. Okay, there's another movie that's similar to genetic. I love this little world that they're building.
Well, the trailer for the
typical
the Devil's Carnival.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Just the trailer for the Devil's Carnival was less about what the movie was about and more about, hey, look who's in it. And that is a bad sign.
Well, not really.
Tell me what it's about.
It's a series of stories about these people who. There's one who is I think he was a gambler. There's a drug addicted person, and there was I forget what the third one is. And it's their stories of being faced and being tried by Lucifer.
Okay, and they read that somewhere.
No.
You got from the trailer.
I saw it from the trailer because
I got none of that.
I thought it was very interesting because they started the trailer off with Aesop's Fables, and I was like, really, why?
Right. So you see a flash of Aesop's Fables, and then it cuts to these splash screens where they actually are going too fast, and I can't read who it is that's playing what, and they show a montage of a dozen different people. I got none of that from the trailer.
Well, after the show, I'm putting it up on the website. We'll watch it again with all of us here, and then we'll talk about it, and we'll save it for the next show because we got to wrap it up.
Yeah,
we've reached the end of the show. What do you think? Do you think The Devil's Carnival is going to be a good film? Did you like Repo the Genetic Opera? What do you think? Let us know what you think. Anything. You found out what makes us cry tonight, and
what makes
dogs and big monkeys, man.
It will make you
and
cry.
Some aliens and sad old men.
So you found out what makes us cry. What makes you cry? What do you want us to talk about for next week or next episode? We would love to hear from you. All the contact information is on the website zombiepopcorn.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Have a good night.
Good night.